Hello everyone, my name is Cameron Stevens and I'm a local real estate agent here in Los Angeles. Today I'm going to be talking about things you should avoid when buying your first home. And this is going to be a list of things that you probably aren't going to think about initially, but you really should consider because they do affect the resale value of your home. Now, when I'm working with a client to purchase their first home, many times I get asked the question, is this house a good buy? Now, essentially what people are asking is this home going to hold or potentially even increase its value? Now, when I think about that question, I think about it in a very different way than I do when I'm evaluating if the home itself is right for my clients. Remember, home value is a function of supply and demand. And with supply staying low in Los Angeles for the at least significant foreseeable future, it is therefore entirely a function of demand. And thus, instead of asking the question, is this home right for me? I ask the question, is this home right for a lot of people? Another way to put this is sort of a hypothetical in that if you bought this house and then let's say for some crazy reason, I had to sell it for you next month, like a month after you bought it. How hard would that be for me to do? If I can say to you, look, that's going to be no problem, that'll be easy, then you're likely buying good value. If my gut says that might be a bit of a shaky proposition or something makes me nervous, that could be a sign that the value isn't there. Remember, if a home is perfect for you, but not for a lot of other people, then your criteria is very narrow, and thus, when you go to sell, you'll have to find another you, someone who has your unique taste that's willing to purchase your home. Of course, that is not to say that you shouldn't buy a home that completely fits you, but it could be helpful to ask this question in addition to the other questions that you're asking if you are concerned about your purchase from an investment standpoint. Remember, the average time people live in a home is 7 years. Many people move for all sorts of reasons. Some of those are expected, some of those might be unexpected, and even if you're planning on staying in a home for all 30 years of your 30-year mortgage, it really isn't a likely scenario. So again, I always like to ask the question, does this home appeal to a wide variety of people? Additionally, the question we will dwell on today is sort of the opposite of that, which is there something about the property that will not appeal to a wide variety of people? Basically, is there something that you don't consider to be a deal breaker, but a large amount of people will? So with that on the table, here are some things that you might seriously consider staying away from when you buy your first home. First up is location. Please do not buy anything next to some kind of a commercial building. That means nothing next to any kind of storefronts or gas stations or office buildings. Any kind of commercial development, don't buy next to it. Also, don't buy next to vacant land unless you're absolutely certain of what's going to be built there. I mean, zoning laws are constantly expanding in Los Angeles, which means a small lot, single-family home development could actually go up right next to a regular single-family home. Also, try to stay next to similar types of homes. So if you're buying single family, try to stay away from being next to a multifamily housing unit. And if that isn't avoidable, try to make sure that you at least have in place, some privacy or the ability to grow hedges or some kind of cover so that the people in the apartments aren't looking right into your backyard. Finally, please, nothing that butts up against the freeway. Not only is it a huge noise issue, but air pollution in that area is so much worse. And even if you don't mind, the next people likely will. In short, the rule of thumb is buy your home next to another home. Now, there are many reasons people want to buy a townhouse or a condo instead of a single family home. Some people just really like the community feel. Others like all the amenities. Some people like the fact that they are responsible for less maintenance than if you just owned your own home. But of course, you still have to contribute to the cost of these things through your HOA dues. But remember, HOA dues do not contribute to your equity in the home. They are an expense that is paid monthly. Though I highly recommend a competent HOA that maintains the complex well and isn't underfunded, I do caution people against a super high HOA fee. So what really constitutes as super high? To me, that's anything over $600. That should be plenty to keep a good HOA funded and maintaining common areas while still being able to keep their reserves and address any issues as they come up. Think about this. A $1,000 a month HOA is the equivalent of $235,000 extra when calculating a home purchase at today's rates in a mortgage payment. I mean, there are high-end complexes in Los Angeles where the HOA fee is $900, $1,000. I've even seen $1,200 in some places. What are you getting for that money? I mean, it seems like a waste to me, and therefore it's no surprise that it does seem like a waste to many other people as well. A super high HOA, like I said, $600 plus, that is going to run the risk to scare off many buyers when it does come time to sell. Here's another one to watch out for, especially when it comes to condo complexes, and that's tandem parking. Now, I understand that at certain entry-level prices in Los Angeles, this is potentially unavoidable, but ideally, you should be on the hunt for side-by-side parking if you can get it. It'll, of course, make your life easier while you're living there, but not having side-by-side parking spaces and having tandem instead, that's potentially a deal breaker for many other future buyers as well. Another one in the condo realm, that's community washer and dryer. To me, this is a hard stay away from when I think about, tandem parking is more try to avoid it if you can, but I would really avoid a community washer and dryer. Even if you're thinking to yourself, well, hey, I used to do laundry in the building when I rented. Who cares if I have to do that when I own a condo? And that might be fine for you, but for most people, when they're spending such significant money on a home, they want to do laundry in their underwear on Sundays if the mood strikes them. I cannot tell you how many buyers that I've looked with that will absolutely refuse to see a property if there isn't laundry in the unit. Now, there is one caveat to this. If you really love the unit, like really, really love it, you could look into the possibility of adding laundry to the unit. Now, this doesn't work in every single case, but to do this, you basically just need to reach out to the HOA and ask them, is this possible? But, otherwise you could try to go about it by asking if there are other units in the building that have made that conversion. If they have, this is a major value add opportunity. I mean, many buyers are just not going to want to deal with the headache of making the addition, but if you've got the cash and you now have a property that you've added major value to, and of course you get to do laundry in your underwear. Here's another one. This one's a little bit more broad, but I try to stay away from funky layouts. An easy way to think about this is to make sure that the bathroom count is not equal to or greater than the bedroom count. Very few people need a 4-bedroom home with 4 bathrooms. Now, the very clear exception to this, of course, is 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, which obviously is a very popular layout. And a 3-3 is fine. It's not necessarily preferred, but certainly not as you go higher. Yes, this also means 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom as well. Very few people purchase a home that's only 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. So if your price point really only allows you to purchase a single bedroom, I'd consider saving up the money and buying at least a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom. And of course, it's not just funky bedroom and bathroom counts as well. I mean, it does apply to the layout as a whole. If there's something that's really odd about the flow or how the property is laid out, and even if you love it, consider that, this is something that might be less friendly to other people when you do eventually go to sell. Here's another one with parking. You sensing a trend here? I mean, LA is a car culture city, and you need a place to put them. So, of course, no parking at all is going to be a problem for basically everybody. Sometimes really, really steep hillside houses are street parking only, and that's definitely something to avoid. I mean, not having a garage is okay in some areas, but you at least need a little bit of a driveway to pull the car off onto, Doesn't have to be huge, even if it's just a little sliver so that you're definitely off the street. It just needs to be there. Finally, have you been curious as to why I haven't put any problems with the house itself on this list? You know, things like an old roof or mold or asbestos or drainage issues or termites or bad systems or even unpermitted structures. That's because most of these things are not actually deal breakers. Now, you should, of course, be very aware of them and what they cost to fix, and you should factor them into the price that you're willing to pay for a home. And, of course, definitely set aside the money to do them, since you can't roll those repairs into the mortgage unless you've got a credit from the seller. But again, they aren't deal breakers, they are opportunities. All of them except one, the foundation. Oh boy, stay away from foundation issues. And while you're at it, stay away from retaining wall issues as well. Foundation issues inevitably involve the city and lots of people from the city. It involves architects and structural engineers and geologists and, of course, contractors and builders as well. It is a lot of money to fix foundation issues. How much, do you say? Well, a standard retaining wall might start at $30,000. The foundation itself, try starting at 6 figures at least. I had a client recently inquire why a home was still for sale after months and months of being on the market in a very nice area. The answer was a destabilized foundation. The lowest cost estimate that they got was $200,000. No lender will lend on a property with foundation issues, and you sure don't want to live in a home with them. Save houses with these types of problems for investors with a lot of cash and a gambling streak. So there you have it, a few red flags to stay away from when purchasing your first home. Remember, you should always buy a home for yourself first and foremost, but it's always worth asking the question, does this home appeal to a lot of other people too? That's why there may be some things that aren't major deal breakers for you, but they are to lots of other people, and thus you may consider buying a property without those deal breakers. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned a few things here that could make the process of buying your first home that much smoother. Speaking of that, if you are interested in purchasing your first home, I love working with first-time homebuyers and just taking a deep dive into what you're looking for and how we can work together and strategize to make that happen in what is still a very competitive market in Los Angeles. To be successful, you need the right agent who can market you as the right buyer and understand how to craft the right offer. Otherwise, man, it is going to be tough out there. And if you're looking to sell your home, I have a fantastic program that really just blows what most other listing agents are doing right out of the water. I pay for all aspects of digital marketing, from photography and drone footage and videography and 3D walkthroughs and virtual open houses, right out of my entry-level commission structure. No other listing agent is doing this, and if they are, they're just going to go ahead and pass along the cost right to you, or they're just going to mark up their cost to you, but I pay for it, no questions asked. It's my way of bridging the gap between the virtual and the personal. Thanks again for watching, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you'd like to chat.